Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk all about life in the Philippines, especially for expats looking to date, live, or even retire in the Philippines. Today we're diving into something super interesting. The biggest culture shocks when dating a Filipina in the Philippines. If you're an expat or planning to move here and start dating, you're in for some surprises. Some will be fun, some might be frustrating, but all of them are part of the unique experience of dating in the Philippines. See, Filipinos are extremely family oriented. Family comes first. And when I say first, I really mean it comes first. A Filipina is deeply connected to her family, and dating her means you'll also be involved with her family, parents, siblings, cousins, maybe even her aunts and uncles too. Let me give you an example. So let's say you're planning a romantic weekend getaway, your Filipina girlfriend, and suddenly she says, "Can my little sister come too?" Or you take her out to dinner and she asks if she can bring home food for her mom. At first, this might be shocking if you come from a Western culture where relationships tend to be more private. But here, it's totally normal. The importance of pakikisama, or social harmony. And this means keeping the peace and maintaining good relationships with others. Now, maybe in the city, people start to forget about this, but if you're deep in the province, people still hold true to these values today. And this might shock you if you're used to being blunt or direct, but in this country, people avoid confrontation at all costs. If your Filipina seems hesitant to tell you directly when she's upset, this could be why. For example, you say something jokingly, and instead of telling you she didn't like it, she just goes off quiet, or she tells you everything is okay even when you can tell it's not. This can be confusing for some of you guys out there, but it's just a different way of handling things here, and it happens even in my situation. Another thing that could be a shock is that when you come here, you don't really see people holding hands that much or hugging each other in public, and it just seems that people are more reserved in this country. And some of you expats are used to hugging, kissing, and holding hands, and here it's just much different. I mean, while you could see this in younger couples and cities, holding hands, sometimes it's okay. But many Filipinos still feel shy and uncomfortable with too much affection in public. One thing for sure is, people here really do care what you think about them. The next one could be super frustrating for some of you guys, but time is flexible in this country, even at your doctor's office. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of Filipino time, but this is a phenomenon that can frustrate many of you. And being late is often not seen as a big deal. If you set a date at 7 p.m., don't be surprised if she shows up at 7:30 or even later. It's not meant to be disrespectful. It's just part of the culture. For some reason, it's become normal for them. The next one is the Hiya Factor, shyness and modesty. You'll find this everywhere, with rich people, with beautiful people, with people that are so smart, they just downplay their abilities and beauties. This will shock some of you. And it's how shy many Filipinos can be, especially in the early stages of dating. Unlike in Western cultures where confidence is often seen as attractive, women here might downplay their achievements or hesitate to make the first move. Let's say you compliment by her saying, "You're beautiful." Instead of saying thank you, she'll give you the giggles and say, "No, I'm not." She's not fishing for more compliments. She really thinks that. It's just part of the culture here. The next one is expect lots of sweetness, but also jealousy. The women here are naturally sweet and affectionate. Expect lots of cute text messages, nicknames like Mahal, which means love, but they can get jealous easily. Let's say you casually mention that waitress was nice, and suddenly she gives you the silent treatment. Or you like a photo of a female friend on social media. She's gonna ask, "Who's that?" So jealousy here isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's often just a sign she really cares. Here, food is a big thing. And yes, things like balot might be on the menu. People here and women in general love food, and your woman will likely want you to try everything here. She'll want to go out for the street food, and chances are you might see something you won't like. From adobo to sinigang, expect her to introduce you to all her favorite dishes. And yes, that includes the balot, the famous fertilized duck egg that you might see some places. Although at first I thought it was crazy and unappetizing, but I eat it sometimes too myself, especially after a few San Miguels. For example, she excitedly hands you a steaming egg and says, "Try it, it's delicious." You crack it open, she tells you to suck the juice, a little soup juice. She tells you to put some vinegar and salt on there and slurp it up. And you see a tiny duck embryo staring back at you. Well, culture shock level 100. This is as hard as it gets for some of you guys, but guess what? It's all about the experience. You either take it or leave it. The next one can shock a lot of you. and maybe some of you might disagree. Financial expectations and support for family. Doesn't happen everywhere, but in some cases it does. And one thing that might surprise you is that in this country, the culture is common for children, even grown adults, to financially support their family. If you're dating a Filipina, don't be shocked if she talks about helping her parents or siblings. Let's say you give a gift and she excitedly tells you she'll share it with her family. Or she asks if you can help pay for something her mom needs. While it's not true for every Filipina, it's a cultural expectation that many expats find surprising. It might not happen always in my situation, but it has. So there you have it. Some of the biggest cultural shocks when dating a Filipina in the Philippines. Now these are things that I've dealt with. I think these are real life scenarios and situations, guys. I don't think you're going to hear this anywhere else other than from a Filipino. Some of these might take getting used to, but if you embrace them with an open mind, you'll find a much better experience in dating here and just living here. You'll live a happier life, and honestly, people will gravitate to you. You'll meet a lot of people and make a lot of friends here. One thing is for sure is making friends here is very important. And I don't mean foreigner friends, I mean Filipino friends. So, what do you think? Have you experienced any of these culture shocks? Drop a comment down below and share your story. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And if you want to buy me a coffee, the link is down in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, hit me with a like and subscribe for more content on life in the Philippines. Turn on your notification bell so you'll never miss an update. See you next time.
I know you got some